So at 47 years old, I had a permanent job working for the government, a decent pension, sick pay, all of that. And I quit. I gave it all up and quit from the jungle in 2020. Now, why exactly would I do that? To live my best life, to find out exactly why I did that and how I did that and how things turned out for me now at the age of 52, then watch this video. So I'm Mark T.J Keane, my website sleepingserpent.com. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Well, the funny thing is, in 2020, I had gone away for a month holiday. I'd actually had enough of working in an office 9 to 5. I couldn't really hack it anymore, but I couldn't really afford to quit. So I thought, I'm just going to take the longest annual leave that I can, which was a month. And I went away to Costa Rica and had an amazing time at Envision Festival. I've been saving up for it for a couple of years. And then I went on to spend 2 weeks at this amazing festival in Panama called Tribal Gathering. The funny thing is, I had a strange feeling all the while that wouldn't it be weird if I don't have to return home to my job and to my life? And that is exactly what transpired. I'd made a commitment actually at the beginning of the year that I was going to start to put all my energy into my online courses, which had only been a bit of a hobby, really. I was making courses about yoga, about the Kundalini yoga, about the chakras, this sort of thing, Kundalini yoga for men. It was just a little side project, a hobby. However, in 2020, what happened at this incredible festival on the beach, Tribal Gathering, was the pandemic. And funny enough, that worked out really, really well for me because about 30 of us all went to live in the jungle in Panama in this eco community called Caluyala. And of course, 2 weeks to flatten the curve became a month, became about 4 or 5 months. But I had made that commitment that I wanted to keep creating one course online every month, publish it, and just see what happened. So I thought, well, just because I'm in the jungle, right, I'm not going to let that stop me. Just because there's a terrible internet connection, right? Jimmy, who had built Caluyala, had literally built the tower on top of the mountain that connected to the Wi-Fi. And then many miles in the jungle, I never found it. He had built another tower that connected to that tower. And that one, in turn, connected to the main frame, right? And that's how they got terrible Wi-Fi beaming down into our little eco community. But that was just about enough for me to upload one video overnight. I didn't have a proper camera with me, I just had my iPhone 5, but luckily that was enough to make the videos. So every day I made a new video, and every month that would turn into a new course. And at the end of each month, I would publish that course, and income came in. And then by the end of that 5 months, I was making enough money online that I decided in my self-initiated vision quest on top of the mountain, right, where I cleared away all the negativity from my mind, that I was not going to go back to that job. I was no longer a vibrational match to sit in an office, to have somebody tell me what to do, to live within the infrastructure of rules that were meaningless, to an ecosystem which was always changing. Literally, I think the team that I was in changed names and identity 7 times. And, you know, I would work on projects for months, even years, that the whole project would then just get completely shelved. And actually, the lack of meaning was incredible. Whereas this vision quest, living out in nature, in the jungle, I've just felt so connected to the tribe of people that we were from all different countries around the world, different ages, different backgrounds. But we were there, we were present during that time of 2020, living our best lives. I was teaching Kundalini yoga in the morning, Kundalini dance at night. Every night we'd have a big fire. We had DJs. We had professional photographers documenting the whole thing. And I just really connected with the river, with the mountain, with the jungle, with living out in nature, with this simple life. I didn't really need the material possessions that we all crave in the West, I was quite happy, more than happy, living out in nature, living out in the jungle. And so I went down that mountain from my vision quest and immediately resigned. And I've never turned back, and I've never gone back to that job. So I kept creating online courses. Then I went back to the UK, and that continued. But actually, I found that I wanted to go back to Costa Rica, back to Panama, and actually run some retreats. So I started getting an income from that as well. Meanwhile, there was cryptocurrency. I started investing in that, started to make some money here and there, and just generally became completely financially free, living my best life, following my heart, following my dreams, doing exactly what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, and was no longer a slave to the waves, no longer, a cog in the wheel of the system that was designed to actually hold everyone down. And I can't tell you how amazing it's been for me. It's been the best decision I've ever made. My time is my own. I spend a lot of time in nature. I like going to the beach. I walk out in the forest every day. And, I create courses online. I try new things. But I like the online space because it just means that I can be a digital nomad. I can go traveling. I don't have to be tied to living in my flat. I can actually rent my flat out when I want to go traveling. The level of freedom is just incredible. So if you're considering leaving your job, if you're not happy in your job, just do it. Just back yourself. Just trust that the universe will support you. The universe will always support somebody who follows their heart, who follows their dreams. I genuinely believe that we're all here for a reason. We've all got a destiny, right? And you have to ask yourself, is your destiny aligned to the job that you are in? Do you think, right, that you came here, incarnated into this human life, down here on planet Earth, to do what you're doing? If you do, then you're in the right place. If you're just doing it for the money, and actually, if somebody handed you £1 million and you would no longer do that job, then you're probably in the wrong job. Probably 95% of people would actually not turn up for work on Monday morning if they were given enough money to live for the rest of their lives. But, a small percentage of people are more than happy doing what they're doing, even if they weren't getting paid at all, right? And that's I feel is what I'm doing. That's what I want for you, and that's really what we should all be doing, because life is relatively short, right? And we want to make the most of it, right? So if you want to go traveling, well, you can do that probably right now, especially if you own your own house, because you can rent that out, right? You can Airbnb it, you can rent it permanently. There's all sorts of things you could do. You could release some of the equity and buy some more properties. It's incredible. The main thing to do is, like, every single thing that goes out of your month, find out if you really need it. What companies tend to do is, at the end of the year, they just put the price up every single year. Most people can't be bothered to actually take issue with it, but actually nearly everything, if not every single subscription that I have in my life, I've had to cancel that subscription, reach out to that company and say, listen, I'm not going to subscribe unless you keep the price the same as it was last year. And in this rare occasions where they don't, well, I actually do cancel, and then I find out another company, and invariably I find a company that's actually will provide the same service for even cheaper. So that's a way of dramatically reducing your bills. And then you have to look at what you're spending on. Do you need all those luxuries? I've given up alcohol. That's been a all that ever did was act as a coping mechanism for me actually not facing the fact that I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live. I was working in a job that didn't serve me. I was working for people that didn't really understand me properly and what I was really about. And so that I was drinking to overcompensate, or I was buying a chocolate cake to overcompensate. And that's all money. That's all emotional spending. So if you cut out emotional spending from your life, right, and you reduce all the unnecessary subscriptions, right, from your life, you can actually start to make a lot of savings, and then really find out what is the minimum income that you actually need to live on, right? And then you just need to focus on deriving that income, hopefully passively or quite easily online, doing something that is completely aligned to what you're here to do. And then you're completely free, financially free, emotionally free, mentally free, and physically free to go wherever you want and do whatever you want at that time. That's freedom. And, we are born free. The birds know it, the animals know it, everything in nature knows it. And when you come into nature, you actually realize that we are part of nature. We were designed to be free, but the system was designed to enslave us and to keep us continuously distracted so that we don't ask too many questions. We're always thinking about the next bill, the next paycheck, and never really getting off the hamster wheel to actually have time and space to actually go, hold on a minute, why am I doing that? Why am I chasing the next promotion? Why am I trying to get a bigger mortgage? Why am I trying to get a bigger car? Why am I enslaving myself into the system just because everyone else is doing it? And actually, when you come back and take your time for your own, right, you become completely self-validated, self-referenced, and actually you aren't answerable to anyone except your own sensibilities, right? So you take your power back, and that's what being a sovereign individual is, where you actually come into complete alignment with your authentic self and spend every second of every hour of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year doing exactly what you want to do, and no compromises are needed. So I just wanted to put that video out there to say that if you are, at a certain age, it just can be any age, but if you're in your 40s or 50s, especially, and you've had enough of the rat race, then you can quit your job and be free and do something else. Just work out the minimum income that you need, work out where that income is going to come from, and liberate yourself. So I'm Mark T.J Keane, my website sleepingserpent.com. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video, and I'll see you next time.